everyone, I'm Kay and welcome back to my kitchen here on my Tennessee homestead, where I focus on cooking from the garden, one-pot meals, and Southern heirloom favorites. Today I am making CUSHAW pie. Some consider CUSHAW pie to be better than pumpkin, so you won't want to miss it. Stick around. So I first learned about CUSHAW squash down at the Pinewood Kitchen, and I did a couple of videos down there, and I saw this most unusual green and white, well, green stripes on white crookneck squash. It has a whiter flesh and it just looked so interesting, and I was able to take one of those squash back to California, save the seeds, and I grew it out there. Now, I didn't have a lot of space in my tiny front yard to grow squash. Squash really takes a lot of space, but this year I did. I managed to get a couple of vines and I got one good big squash. So I have saved the seeds, of course, and I'm going to have lots of fresh seeds because those seeds were from 2016 or 17, and they're just the most beautiful white, creamy white with a gold edge around the outside. I love even looking at the seeds, and there weren't a lot, that's it. So I want to make sure and grow it again next year. I've got two pies that I'm going to make today, one in a quiche pan and one in they're both 9-inch, one in a regular glass pie pan. And of course, making up a filling to the CUSHAW pie is very similar to a pumpkin pie filling. So we're going to get started with that, but first I need to whip up some pie crusts. My recipe for pie crust makes 2 pies. It's 2½ cups of flour with 1 teaspoon of salt, which I've mixed around, and then you cut in 1 cup of either shortening or butter into marble-sized pieces, and then you just sheet the flour between the butter. This is what makes it flaky. When you no longer feel chunks, I think I got most of them, it's time to add cold water, 1/2 cup. You make a well in the middle. Okay. Now, one thing about CUSHAW is it's more watery than you might think of with other squashes, and so you're going to want to strain it. But I cooked my squash yesterday. I just cut it into big chunks. I had it on a much larger tray, but I put it in this pan for overnight in the refrigerator. Now I'm going to take the skin off, and I'm going to put the flesh into a food processor that my friend Linda gave me as a housewarming gift. So here we go. The flesh sort of reminds me of spaghetti squash. You're going to have more squash from one big CUSHAW than you need for a pie, but it will freeze nicely Okay. So I'm working in small batches to make sure that it gets mushed up. You see what a lemony color it is. I have had the CUSHAW draining in a berry bowl. I got a little bit of juice down there. It's just going to be 5 cups for 2 pies. And instead of regular heavy cream, which is what it calls for, I'm using coconut cream, unsweetened coconut cream, very thick. This is 1/2 cup for 2 pies. One of my mother's favorite pies was coconut cream pie. Okay, then you just add in the eggs, 2 beaten eggs per pie. Well, this was melted butter. It's almost melted. That's 1/2 cup melted butter. Gonna put in it's 1/4 teaspoon of allspice and nutmeg, but I have 1/2 of each, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt for 2 pies. 1 cup of sugar per pie, so I've got 2 cups cane sugar. Wow! Whoops! It calls for 1/2 teaspoon of lemon extract, which is something I don't have. So I'm just going to put in a few drops of my essential oil lemon, which is very powerful, so I don't want to use too much. And then your flour. Okay, we're ready to do this. You know what? I've got enough for another small 8-inch pie. Okay, here we go. Okay, you're going to cook this for 10 minutes at 450. And then turn the heat down to 350 and cook for another 40 minutes. Well, what do you know? It turned into night again. Seems to do that every day. Well, I am going to have myself a cup of a swirling joy of cranberry rose and exotic vanilla. And then I'm going to feed 5 hungry cats. And I will be back with you in 50 minutes. Oh, yes. See if I can get it out of here in one piece. Nope. That's okay. The pie's not really set yet, but I had to have a bite. Here we go. Ooh, that's hot. Oh, that is so good. It's got nutmeg in it, and my grandmother made a recipe with nutmeg that I hope to make sometime. I've mentioned it before. So anytime I really get a sense of nutmeg, I think of her and I think of that wonderful dish. Thanks so much for watching this channel, liking the videos, and especially sharing them with your friends. And I look forward to bringing you more inspirational videos, cooking from the garden, and gardening videos right here on my homestead in Tennessee. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, scroll down and click all so you won't miss anything right here. Cane sugar. Wow! Whoops! I'm getting a little carried away there.